Welcome to the SCP Foundation Classified Briefing. Today's subject, SCP-457, The Burning Man. Please ensure you like and subscribe to the channel for more vital security updates. SCP-457 is an anomalous entity composed entirely of flame, demonstrating sentience and the ability to move independently. Its physical form is directly proportional to the amount of combustible material it has recently consumed, allowing it to grow from a small flicker to an inferno capable of engulfing entire structures. Initial containment was extremely challenging due to its aggressive nature and rapid expansion when exposed to fuel sources. Standard fire suppression methods, such as water or chemical retardants, have proven largely ineffective, merely causing it to temporarily disperse before recoalescing. Current protocols mandate its containment within a hermetically sealed, non-combustible chamber constructed from reinforced steel, devoid of any oxygen or flammable substances. You must understand that even a small ember-escaping containment poses an existential threat. Its very existence is a constant battle against conflagration. Absolutely no combustible materials are permitted within a 50-meter radius of its containment cell, without explicit Level 4 clearance. Its hunger for fuel is absolute. SCP-457's anomalous properties extend beyond mere self-sustaining combustion. Research indicates it possesses a form of sensory perception, detecting the presence of flammable materials even through solid barriers, suggesting a mechanism beyond conventional heat or light detection. Furthermore, its movements are not random. Observations during containment breaches reveal a predatory intelligence actively seeking out the densest concentrations of fuel and exhibiting tactical awareness in circumventing obstacles. When exposed to water or chemical suppressants, the core entity simply disperses its flame, only to coalesce again when conditions become favorable, suggesting the anomalous property lies in an underlying, non-flammable spark or consciousness that reanimates the fire. This persistent recoalescence is what renders typical suppression efforts futile. You must understand that it is not merely a fire, but an intelligent, adaptive predator driven by an insatiable need to burn and grow. Maintaining absolute material deprivation is your only defense against its expansion. SCP-457 was first brought to Foundation attention following an unprecedented industrial fire in an abandoned chemical warehouse in Redacted 20 classified. Local emergency services were overwhelmed by the blaze, which displayed unnatural resistance to suppression and an inexplicable rate of spread, consuming non-combustible materials and leaving behind only sterile ash. Foundation assets embedded within fire departments observed an unusual focal point within the inferno, an intelligently moving core of flame that seemed to direct the destruction. Eyewitness accounts, later suppressed, described a man-shaped fire moving through the structure. Our initial rapid response team suffered significant casualties when attempting to contain what they perceived as a mere large-scale fire. It actively targeted and consumed their equipment and, in some cases, personnel. The anomaly's ability to discern and seek out fuel sources, even live organic matter, was devastatingly apparent. It was only through the deployment of specialized air evacuation protocols, effectively starving it of fuel by removing an entire section of the building, that containment was achieved. The incident underscored the entity's predatory nature and its capacity for rapid, uncontained proliferation. Any engagement must prioritize material denial above all else. Agent Classified's debriefing provided critical insight into SCP-457's predatory intelligence during the initial containment effort at the warehouse. He reported direct visual confirmation of the anomaly coalescing into a bipedal, humanoid form within the blaze, actively shifting its mass to encircle and consume Foundation operatives. Agent Classified described the entity observing its surroundings, seemingly assessing threats and opportunities, before deliberately targeting flammable equipment and personnel wearing synthetic materials. He specifically recounted witnessing SCP-457 briefly turn its attention towards him, a discernible shift in its flame pattern that conveyed intent, before being distracted by a larger fuel source. This interaction confirmed our suspicions. It is not merely an uncontrolled phenomenon, but a sentient, hostile entity. The psychological impact on Agent Classified was severe, indicative of the trauma caused by facing a sentient fire. This direct observation underlined the critical need for remote interaction and the absolute prohibition of direct personnel exposure. Never underestimate its perceptive abilities or its malevolent intent when operating near its containment. Controlled feeding experiments within its reinforced containment chamber have provided crucial data regarding SCP-457's energetic requirements and growth patterns. It exhibits a preference for highly combustible materials such as gasoline, propane, and various polymers, consuming them with remarkable efficiency. During these feeding cycles, the anomaly rapidly increases in mass and intensity, its flame becoming brighter and hotter. We have observed a direct correlation between the quantity of fuel consumed and its physical manifestation. From a small, contained ember, it can expand to encompass significant volumes, taking on more distinct humanoid characteristics. This growth is not merely physical. Its perceived intelligence and reactivity also appear to escalate proportionally. Deprivation experiments, conversely, demonstrate its capacity to shrink to a near-dormant state, a small, barely visible flame, yet it retains full sentience and awareness. This state of minimal existence is temporary and fraught with danger. It invariably seeks to rekindle its mass and intensity aggressively once fuel becomes available. You must understand that its hunger is not merely metabolic. It appears to be a fundamental aspect of its existence and its drive. Any compromise in its containment, especially in areas with available fuel, risks rapid escalation to an uncontainable event. Always assume it is actively seeking opportunities to feed and grow. Further analysis of SCP-457's growth patterns reveals a direct correlation between its size, thermal output, and the sophistication of its observed behavior. And, when it consumes sufficient fuel, its physical manifestation scales dramatically, transforming from a contained ember into a sprawling, multi-limbed entity capable of manipulating its environment with greater force and precision. During these periods of accelerated growth, its internal flame temperature can exceed 1500 degrees Celsius, posing a severe thermal threat to its containment and surrounding infrastructure. More disturbingly, its perceived intelligence appears to sharpen. It demonstrates enhanced problem-solving abilities, actively seeking out vulnerabilities in its environment, and developing more complex strategies to acquire additional fuel. We have recorded instances where it appears to deliberately target weak points in containment barriers. This escalating intelligence, combined with its increased physical presence, means that a small containment breach can rapidly transition into an XK-class scenario, if not immediately contained. You must treat any increase in its mass or activity as an immediate, critical threat, demanding full Omega-level response protocols. Containment Breach Event 457A, documented extensively via security footage, serves as a stark reminder of the anomaly's capacity for rapid escalation and strategic threat. The incident began with a minor electrical malfunction in a primary humidity regulator, creating a localized dry spot near the containment field. Within minutes, the dormant SCP-457 detected this vulnerability. Footage shows a subtle intensification of its flame, followed by a concentrated, high-temperature discharge directed precisely at the faulty component. This melted the wiring and allowed for a localized breach of the internal atmosphere. Once a pathway was established, it expanded with alarming speed, consuming nearby non-combustible insulation and even reinforcing carbon fiber composites by sheer thermal output. The footage captured its distinct humanoid form, growing in size as it progressed through the secondary containment layers, actively bypassing obstacles and targeting fuel sources within the wall cavities. The anomaly demonstrated clear intent, prioritizing access to the emergency fuel lines running adjacent to the corridor. This event underscored that its intelligence is not theoretical. It is a demonstrable, active threat. You must internalize the lesson of Event 457A. Every single system failure, no matter how minor, is a potential avenue for its escape and expansion. Dr. Brennan's final report on the psychological impact of long-term exposure to SCP-457 is a critical document for all personnel assigned to its containment. The report details a consistent pattern of escalating anxiety, paranoia, and a profound sense of dread among researchers and security staff. The anomalies observed, intelligence, particularly during growth phases, and Incident 457A, instills a unique form of psychological strain. Personnel frequently report a pervasive feeling of being watched or analyzed by the entity, even when it is in a quiescent state. Dr. Brennan documented instances of personnel experiencing vivid nightmares related to fire and incineration, coupled with a growing obsession over the integrity of containment systems. This is not simply stress. It is a deep-seated apprehension that the anomaly is actively learning, actively plotting its next move. You are expected to monitor your own mental state and that of your colleagues rigorously. Any deviation from standard psychological profiles must be immediately reported to your supervising officer, as compromised mental faculties could lead to critical errors in an already high-stakes environment. The long-term implications of SCP-457's existence present a persistent, existential threat. Unlike conventional fires, it cannot be truly extinguished. All attempts to deprive it of fuel, reduce oxygen, or apply chemical suppressants have merely forced it into a quiescent state, where it retains its core consciousness and properties, awaiting new fuel. This inherent resilience means SCP-457 is not an anomaly to be contained temporarily. It is a perpetual entity requiring eternal vigilance. Its adaptive intelligence, as demonstrated in Event 457A, suggests that it is continuously evaluating its environment and our containment protocols for weaknesses. The cost of maintaining its specialized environment, including the inert gas suppression systems and advanced humidity regulators, is immense, but the alternative is unconscionable. Should SCP-457 achieve a critical mass outside Foundation control, its potential for widespread, unstoppable destruction is global. You must understand that this is a war of attrition against an entity that literally thrives on consumption and cannot be killed. Our task is not to defeat it, but to contain it forever. The theoretical scenarios involving SCP-457 reaching critical mass outside Foundation containment are uniformly catastrophic. Its unique capacity for exponential growth by consuming all combustible material, combined with its profound, adaptive intelligence, represents an unparalleled existential threat. Unlike a natural fire, SCP-457 possesses clear intent, constantly learning from its environment and actively seeking expansion. The potential for it to split into multiple, independently sentient instances, as outlined in contingency protocols, means a single containment breach could rapidly escalate into a global conflagration, a literal legion of burning entities. This anomaly cannot be reasoned with, nor can it be permanently destroyed. Its very existence is a perpetual challenge to our ability to protect humanity from an unyielding, fiery apocalypse. Your duty is paramount. Uphold its containment protocols with absolute vigilance at all costs. This concludes your classified briefing on SCP-457 Burning Man. Stay vigilant, Foundation personnel. Dismissed.